Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Council podcast. We are going to be looking at the second test in Vizag. India won the second test by 106 runs and they've levelled the series at 1-1. They set England 399 to win and bowled us out for 292 with both Jasprit, Bumrah and Ravi Ashwin taking 3 wickets in the second innings. The standout performance of the game were Jasprit Bumrah, who had figures of 9 to 91 throughout both innings, and of course Yashasvi, Jaiswal, who had a 209 in the first innings, and Shubman Gill, who had 104 in the second innings. So Rayan, I'll come to you first. Just how important a win was this for India, especially given their start, given the context of the series, and just in general?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, of course, this is the most important win for India. I'm sure the people in India are very happy about it. Considering the series and the fearless brand of cricket England is playing, I think it's great for the boys and the Rahul Dravid coaching staff to gain some confidence and to move on to the next part of the series. So, but still, this series is not like the past series where India was dominating the most part of the series and demoralized the opponent teams. Now the England are playing a fearless brand of cricket and they are giving some fears to the Indian team and the Indian fans. You saw it in the comments of Shubman Gill at the end of day 3. He was saying 70-30, even though we have a lead of 396. It shows the fear towards the brand of cricket England are playing currently. So we have to fire in the batting unit and we have to demoralize the opponents to gain some advantage of playing in the home conditions. And also in the terms of WTC, from behind the 6th place to now we are moving on to the 2nd place in the points table, and with 3 games to come we have the fair chance of holding the place of a second and increasing the chance of qualifying for the finals of WTC. So this one is most important to India and the fans.
Yeah, Luke, and interesting what you say about the World Test Championship, sort of mentality. Me and Luke would say we're not asked. I don't know about you. I'm not asked about it, really.
To be honest, that's nothing I've really heard talked about in terms of English cricket. But I think if we got to the final, that would actually be a big thing when it happened. But I don't know where we would rank in the World Test Series. We're 9th at the moment.
What?
Yeah, I don't really understand that, right? Because
we just keep winning.
Because it's the 2-year cycle, is that?
2-year cycle, and the over-rate penalty for the England was the major cause of losing points.
Yeah, I did notice. I don't know on what day it is, but we actually bowled over 90 overs.
Is it? Yeah, they were talking on about.
Yeah, I think we got a wicket after the 90th over.
Yeah, it was day 2.
Yeah.
Think. No, it wasn't.
I think in this test, England are really quick in the and bowling overs when compared to the previous ones.
Of course, yeah.
In the Ashes, they lost major points for the over penalty, and that may cost them to go below West Indies, Pakistan.
It's obviously playing the 4 spinners and the 1 seamer.
8.
But I think that's saying
that was such bullshit. What? I don't get that. But we've lost, right? Our form is loss, win, draw, win in our previous 5 test matches. You've got the Windies are above us and they've won once in their past 4 matches. Pakistan have lost their last 3 and they're in 6th. Bangladesh are 5th. I don't want to sound disrespectful, they've only played twice.
Yeah. It's the points table is really based on the winning percentage. So even though you win more matches than other teams, the percentage needs to be high.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I guess teams like Bangladesh won't get to play.
They just play only 2 games, one out of them, so the percentage must be...
And so the top 2 is who? India and...
Australia are the top.
It's quite difficult to argue with that, to be honest, but I don't think England should be as low as 9th.
I don't get how we're 9th. I mean, yeah, it's also probably down to us. We should go and tour Bangladesh, but we don't. That's a separate discussion. Let's try and stick to the test match. So yeah, Luke, what can England learn going into the third test? I thought we put it. It wasn't a bad.
Yeah, I think we played well in spells. I think the difference was Jaiswal's 200. I know it's quite reductionist, but if you take out that 200, it's a completely different game. Obviously, I think Zach Crawley batted incredibly in both innings. 270s. It was a shame he couldn't just kick on and maybe get a big.
I've got that written down.
A big 100, but I think Crawley has come a long way. There was a time in England where he couldn't buy a run, and now I'm just seeing him bat, and he's so dominant. He just gets on the front dog, hits it in the V incredibly straight, hits it hard. And I just, love watching him bat at the moment.
Oh, yeah, he's been totally vindicated. Well, when I was in New Zealand, this time last year for that series, there were a hell of a lot of grumbles from the Barmy Army and all the England fans over there about Crawley's selection. It was, or everyone was saying, I think they should have Bairstow opening for the Ashes, if you cast your mind back a year ago. So it's another case of Bazball selection being on point by sticking with him. It's the same with Pope, and then Crawley's been vindicated this test match. On the run scoring for England, it felt like we fell a bit short, but actually it was the second highest fourth innings total by a touring side ever. So Sri Lanka had 299 for 5 back in 2017, playing it in Delhi, and then it's our 292 on it was Monday, wasn't it? Yeah, on Monday. And granted, the other innings were ones where they had successful chases. So the Windies were 276 for 5 back in 1987. That's in third, but so that gives a bit of context to actually we batted very well in the fourth innings. If you look at the history, it just obviously it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I understand. 400 chasing 400 in India just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
but it's amazing the effect of Bazball that people now believe. And myself, I felt gutted that we didn't chase that because I actually had belief.
Yeah,
especially with Stokes still at the crease. I thought, if Stokes bats for an hour, we could really, really be in this game. It's just the run out was obviously a bit of a.
I think I just went back to sleep.
I think that attitude of England they created in the past 7 or 8 months have that what leads England to India to league 290 plus in India, because the pitch is like the batting paradise for the first 2.5 days. So the thing we want to do is we have to bat for maximum of 5 or 6 sessions, but we lost our 10 wickets within the 4 sessions, so which gave England the advantage to bat for another longer, but they didn't because of the brilliance of Jasprit Bumrah. That's what backed India into the game. Suppose if we batted for more than 6 sessions, then the chance of England scoring 299 in the 4th innings was very low, because considering the fact they might bat their 4th innings in the end of day 4 or day 5. So in day 4 or day 5, the Indian pitches will start turning very high, considering when compared to the day 1 and day 2. So if India bat for 2 days or 2.5 days, then the remaining part of the test was very tough to bat. So if in the next 3 matches, if we win the toss, we're obviously going to bat first, and we need to bat for minimum of 5 or 6 sessions, then bat out the England team completely from the test. That's the only way to demoralize the England team. So they are playing the fearless brand of cricket. Even though the ball is going to turn, they're coming and they're going to attack from the ball 1.
So I totally agree with you. Firstly, the toss is so important. We've seen both teams who've batted first have won so far. So in the third test, I know that's going to be another factor.
Yeah.
But I'd just like to I'm not sure I'm allowed to do this, but am I allowed to criticise Bazball?
No.
No. All right, I'm going.
Doors that way, mate.
I'm going to anyway. So just building on Ryan's point, he's saying India needs to bat 5 or 6 sessions. I can guarantee you England will never do that.
Yeah.
And we've seen so many people in the test getting starts, 20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
And no one is really kicking on. And then Duckett, you know, he's played a couple bad shots again, got 220s. Root, I mean, his shot in his whole innings.
Yeah, I want to
in
talk
the final
about
innings.
I want to talk about
was
Root.
just bizarre to me.
Yeah.
First ball reverse sweep. I think third ball reverse sweep nearly gets out. And then he's 16 off 9, comes down to the track to Ashwin, and just his head is nowhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
And I just don't think Joe Root needs to bat like that. He's so good. Back time.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
ran
Well,
over.
no.
Joe Root scored more than 1,000 runs in India before the era of basketball. So he have the ability to score runs even though he may not adapt basketball. So it's up to Ben Stokes and the Indian management whether Joe Root want to stick with the basketball or he want to play the authentic cricketing shots to score runs.
I think he should just. So it's quite cliche. Fergus, I've seen some stats. I don't know. I should have written them down. I can't. I think he's averaging 2 runs less than before.
Yeah, I saw
So it's like you can look at it. You can look at it as he shouldn't play basketball, or he might just be in a bit of bad form. Like he's averaging 13 in the series. It might just be Joe Root's human alert.
Yeah.
And we all need to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I think.
But you watch him bat and you see him play that shot to Ashwin, and yeah,
that was frantic.
Weird. Yeah.
Frantic innings.
Yeah.
And to look at folks, so I reckon he's the one batsman in the team who doesn't really play basketball. You know, he plays the supporting role. So I don't think it's like McCullum is telling them, you know, you need to be 20 off 10 balls. I think he gives them the confidence to play how they want to. So I think maybe Root just needs to go back into sort of the old Joe Root and just play proper cricket shots.
2020, if 2021 wasn't it, with Root Mania.
Yes.
Yeah, those are the glory days of my boy from Sheffield. And also I wanna talk a bit more about Gill's 70-30.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, they are genuinely a bit rattled because you cannot look at the history, the game situation. England, you know, I think they needed 330 odd to win when he said that with 9 wickets left. It was just like, what is it do you think has got into the Indian camp which has, you know, got them like into that sort of mindset?
Okay. Before coming into Gill's comment, so I want to talk about Gill's form. So after Gill, Gill started to play at number 3 in place of the Pujara.
Yeah.
So he has a lot of responsibility to play at number 3, replacing a star like Pujara, and he hasn't scored as many runs when compared to him playing in the top order spot, opening spot. So it's like Gill is. What I'm unable to find the correct English words. Gill is hard to find runs at number 3.
He just like struggles to score.
Struggled to score at number 3 for the last 6 or 7 tests. So this test is like maybe the last one for Indian team management to back Gill, because there are a lot of players in the lineup, like Pujara scored double century in his Ranji Trophy. There's a guy called Sarfraz Khan in the lineup. So this test 100 is much needed for Gill, much needed for India to go after the series. So it's like, I think he got confidence from the catches he took in the first innings. He took 4 brilliant catches to remove the best batters of England. He took the confidence. He came into bat in the second innings, and he had some bit of luck too. He got one. He umpire given out to Gill in his starting phase. He got reviewed and reverse the decision. Then he struggled a bit against Anderson in his early innings, but he managed to stay in the crease and score some runs, and finally got back runs and scored 100. The second innings is brilliant for Gill and the Indian team management, and the backup. It gives some confidence to Rahul Dravid to back some Indian players. So
I remember actually seeing Gill. The first time I saw him was in Australia.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And I think I saw him get 90 or 100 there.
in a Gabba.
And I thought, this guy is the next Sachin. This guy is the next Virat Kohli. But I think he's maybe struggled with that pressure that's been on him. But in the knock he played here to get 100, I really enjoyed it. Everything about it, the aesthetic, he was calm, the long sleeves, the cap for the spinners.
Long sleeve.
Yeah. Top innings.
And regarding the Gill's comment, so once we set a target of 396, it's almost impossible to chase 396 anywhere in the world. Especially in India, it's almost impossible. But it's never happened. Yeah. But the Gill's comment of 70-30 shows the mentality they're having towards the brand of cricket England is playing currently. Because with baseball, anything is chaseable. I think England lost only 3 matches while chasing, including the last test. So it shows the Indian mentality towards the England brand of cricket. And they feel they're so defensive in field. They don't want to attack. They don't want to leak runs. So they just want to protect runs. They're wanting the England players to lose their wicket. They don't want to gain the wicket by setting attacking fields. They just want England players to play some bad shots and lose their wickets themselves. So I think India want to set more attacking fields.
More proactive in
the field. It's okay if they go for runs, they go for 4 and 6s. It's okay. We want to set, as Bill said, we want to be more proactive on the field, more attacking to gain more wickets.
Yeah, I mean, I think, amongst all the baseball, we're getting sucked into the baseball craze as much as everyone else. India still won that test by 100. I want to speak about the match-winning performances from Bumrah especially. It was just like... it was like sort of a spell I'd never seen before. I haven't watched Bumrah enough, probably. I'm sure he's capable of doing that every other test match, pretty much.
I think Jasprit Bumrah is the only guy who is currently the best bowler in the world, arguably. And he's averaging he's averaging 20 in test. Just like, I have no rights to comment about that. Like, no price about that. He's like the top bowler of this generation, maybe.
He's in the debate. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I just love watching him bowl. The ball he bowled to Pope, falling over, stumps everywhere. Yeah. I wrote down the stats. So he's got the best bowling average in tests since 2018.
Yeah.
Another thing I think is important, he's winning the battle against Root and Stokes. Okay, and it's just fascinating to see the best against the best.
Yeah.
And obviously, I've never faced Jasprit Bumrah, but it just looks like he's always at you. He's onto you quickly. The hyper extension of the arm.
Yeah.
I actually saw, I think it was CricViz said it actually allows him to release the ball later.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's actually delivering it from closer. And I think you can see that. Batsmen maybe just don't pick it up in his bouncer and like length. I think that's so important when someone is bowling at 90 miles an hour. You're looking for little cues about where the ball is going to land. But I think with Bumrah, that must be so difficult.
And he have all the skills. He bowl in swinger, out swinger, slower one.
Ball to Folkes. Well, Folkes looked so settled with, even with Hartley, he looked really settled. They were like, even then I was thinking,
half a chance could have
just like edge to 70 odd, and then we only need 80 odd more. Anyway,
so I read in the cricket bus, Bumrah is going to get rest for the 3rd test, which Indian fans don't want to.
Yeah,
I thought amazed. Can you rest for the 4th and 5th test as well?
That's the thing. I'm thinking from a selection point of view. What is basically the one selection? Apart from maybe Virat coming back, I think including Virat coming back, actually, that England would want to happen, and it is Bumrah not playing. That's the thing. As a fan, I'm sure if you spoke, they probably wouldn't want to admit it, but if you spoke to Stokes,
hopefully,
and Root, they would say,
we have Mukesh in the bowling, and don't worry about that.
Yeah, And what about Shami as well? Maybe is he possibly going to come back or not too soon?
I think it's 50-50. So
Yeah.
I think he's currently in National Cricket Academy, Bangalore. He's in rehabilitation. So it's 50-50 call for the management to bring Shami.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if Bumrah is going to get rest, Siraj will come in place of Bumrah.
Yeah.
So it's good opportunity for Siraj to show some of his skills.
Yeah. We'll come back to a bit of a third test sort of preview.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you saw of it, but I did enjoy seeing a bit of needle between Ashwin and Bairstow. Might be a little bit of beef kicking off. There are two players that you wouldn't expect at all to be getting into some sort of tussle. So yeah, do you want to see a bit more of that in the series?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't mind it.
I love it.
I think there is a lot of respect amongst both teams, but this is what high pressure sport brings. And I know a lot of England fans were saying, we're living rent-free in India's head at the moment, given Ashwin having to behave like that, give Bairstow a send-off. Yeah. The Gill comments, the 70-30.
70-30.
Normally India got a 400 lead on the fourth innings. It would be spin from both ends, back pads all around, surrounding the batsman. You probably have Pant behind the wicket, giving it the big un.
Yeah.
But I did actually see, and I think you can see it in Sharma's captaincy sometimes, they are worried and they're starting... It's what the Bazball does, We all know how important psychology is in sport. Yeah. And I think India are fearful of this team. I think they really are.
Common consensus. It was another moral victory for our boys.
In the past 10 years, this England team is the only team which is just really competitive against India in tests. And this best side to watch, because in the last 10 years, if any team touring India, it was like open, we'll say it's India 5-0, 4-0, 3-0, we easily win the series. But this England team is giving very tough fight to India. So as Rohit said in the press conference, the series is not over. There are 3 more matches in the upcoming. So hopefully we'll win all the 3 matches. And considering to talk about the next test in Rajkot. So we call Rajkot as a highway, which is like a flat track, again batting pitch for the first 2.5 days. So in the recent Ranji Trophy match between Saurashtra and Jharkhand, which happened in January 3-7, Cheteshwar Pujara scored 240 plus runs in the first innings. Saurashtra, which is also the home ground for Cheteshwar Pujara and Ravindra Jadeja. Hopefully Jadeja will play in the third test, but that was also not sure. That was also not sure because he is in the National Cricket Academy. But I have read that KL Rahul is fully fit to play the third test, so he may come in place of Rajat Patidar. So if Virat Kohli comes, then it will be tough for the Indian team to drop either of Shreyas Iyer or KL Rahul. So don't know what about the selections. So
I think it might be Iyer.
Maybe.
For just going back on England fans, I think we may have got a little giddy, including myself.
For a 100-run defeat.
Yeah, after the first test, sort of, I saw Michael Atherton declared us as favourites for the series, and I agreed with him actually. But I think India showed their class in that second test and how difficult it will be to get the series win.
I think it's mainly because of Jasprit Bumrah's brilliance and the fielding in both the innings, especially the catches they took, the run out of Ben Stokes, and the review of Zach Crawley. It may be the controversial one. Ben Stokes thought it was not out, even Rohit Sharma thought it was not out, and he went to review with the half-minded. But seeing in the TV it was out, you saw the reaction of Rohit Sharma and the teammates. They were really happy and celebrating like nowhere.
I mean, it's a big moment, isn't it? He was on 70 odd.
Yeah. The wicket of Zach Crawley in both the innings was the turning point. In the first innings, the Shreyas Iyer's brilliant catch which sent Zach Crawley back to the pavilion, and in second innings, the review. So the wicket of Zach Crawley is the turning point in the second.
Especially in the first innings.
Yeah.
I felt that as a just more of just a fan watching, that was like when I was like, this could start going downhill, because like Pope was looking a bit unsettled. Pope was already in, wasn't he? Yeah, and he was looking unsettled. Suddenly you've got Ruth not being in Nick and Pope there. And it just that was like we're going to get bowled out quite quickly here. And that's I mean, I suppose, and then
From 100
Bumrah did his thing. Bumrah did do his thing. So, yeah, we obviously already started looking at it a little bit. The third test starts on the February the 15th in Rajkot. If Virat comes back, we're thinking it's going to be Rahul and Virat in the lineup. Or that's a big decision to make, I suppose, isn't it?
I think that's a big decision to make for Rahul Dravid.
Yeah. And we touched on Shami as well.
Yeah.
For England, the batting order's pretty settled. But in terms of bowling, I've been thinking about it and was thinking maybe a second seamer might be worth looking into. Anderson was so effective. I was maybe thinking Robinson might be worth utilising if he can start extracting a bit of reverse swing as well.
Yeah, it might
be a way forward. I'm not sure.
For me, I would bring Wood back in, providing he's fit. Yeah. I think he provides that point of difference, the pace. Yes. And with the three spinners, assuming Root's finger's okay and he can bowl, we can use him in short, sharp spells, and he's our most explosive bowler. As Ryan said, I think it's going to be a flat pitch. So even if we have to go short ball tactic, have two men out on the hook. But yeah, just going back to Anderson, just unbelievable. Yeah. I know everyone's sort of banging on about 41 years old, but he cannot keep doing this for too much longer. And I cannot tell you how sad I'll be when he finally hangs up into
it. Will be worse than Brody.
Oh, and the final thing on Anderson, the on drive he hit off Mukesh. I don't know if you guys saw that. I'm just thinking that's probably the best shot he's played in years, if not ever.
and his only half century was come up against India.
Yes, 81.
81 in the partnership of June
2014. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, my other note is Anderson has to stay in for the third test, especially now they're having that 10-day break. There's no real tiredness excuse there. He'll be ditching to play as well.
Yeah. I've heard they're all going back to Abbey, I believe. Play a bit of golf, switch off, get to see their families as well, which will obviously be nice. Come back rejuvenated, and looking forward to the third test already.
It's such a superior method to back in the day. I was listening to the TMS podcast and Phil Tufnell was saying they'd go for a tour game against it's not a county team in India, like a sort of district side.
State team.
A state team, and they would just be knackered from that. They'd probably get beaten in that. And it's just it just seems like a far more intelligent approach. You just have a break. You're playing a lot of cricket as it is. Obviously they'll stay in the nets as well, you'd assume. And even if they don't, in Brendan I trust at this point, so they can go on a fucking boating trip or I don't know, paragliding or something. I wouldn't care. And is there anything else to add on the third test?
I think I'm not sure if Brooke will be back. I think there's not at all. Yeah, which is a big shame because I know Bairstow can play a match-winning innings, but we haven't seen much from him so far. Yeah. As I've said, I'm not convinced by Duckett. I know he's got a very good record since he came back into the team.
I wouldn't mess with that.
I think the opening partnership was really good for England. In the past 3 or 4 tests, the opening partnership was more than 50.
Yeah.
So
granted, Crawley scoring the runs, but I wouldn't change it. It's for being they could always be 50 for 0 and then 60 for 1. That's a good start.
Yeah.
For us. Mate, remember.
I do.
Do you remember Dom Sibley, Alex Lees, Hasim Hamid, Rory Burns? Rory Burns was decent, but Rory Burns by the end.
I like my batsmen to be greedy, okay? And they're only more batting if they get through the new ball. Bat all day, India will be demoralised, and then our more attacking batsmen can come in down the order when they're tired. Yeah. I just feel a flashy 20 or 30 at the top is not going to win us a series in India. I know what you're saying. Who in England will be able to score the big runs at the top of the order? I wrote down 2 names. Both are, well, one is very left field. Keaton Jennings, not particularly.
I get that.
He's out in India with the Lions. I think he scored 100. He's got a great record in first-class cricket. Averages close to 40. For reference, Zach Crawley's average in first class is only 32. To add a caveat in there, when Jennings did play for England, I think his test average was only 25. So maybe at the top level.
He did score a ton in subcontinent.
Yeah.
Was it in India?
Yeah. And then my left field shout is Ben Compton of Kent. I'm quite biased because I know him and have played with him. But I saw a statistic. It was on during the South Africa-New Zealand series.
Yeah.
He is the 8th highest first-class run scorer in 2022 with an average of 48. His major problem is his strike rate in his first-class career is 44. So he's a real blocker, a nerdler. But he has proved time and time again he can bat long over the last 2 years. And I think this is the biggest thing in his favour. He scored 100 against a New Zealand touring side, which included Neil Wagner, Carl Jameson and Tim Sowley. So he can clearly do it against international quality bowling. But, as I say, it's left field. He's not been in the setup at all yet. So maybe that's my bias. He is 29 or 30.
20. Okay.
He's late onto the season, but last 2 years...
He's not that. Anderson, he's still got 10 years left in him.
Yeah. 10 years.
But he is not capable of playing baseball, and I know him, and he would not throw his wicket away under any circumstances. Yeah. But that is my view of an opening batsman in Test cricket.
Yeah, interesting. I wouldn't change it right now. I think it would be too harsh. Duckett's got credit in the bank.
Yeah, saying that, he'll probably go out and score 100 or 60
in
the next.
This is just pure tactics. I also think Root will get naught again, and I think Bairstow will get naught again, get low scores again. No, they won't. Hopefully they'll turn it around. Actually, there's a good stat about Brooks. Really high quality in the subcontinent. He averaged 93.6 in the Test series against Pakistan last winter. So that is sort of possibly the runs. Obviously, the attack wasn't as good. Maybe the pitches were flatter.
Yeah.
But we are missing out on that real high quality in the subcontinent a little bit with Brook. So hopefully he can come back if his family issues are resolved. Obviously, the family issues are way more important than Test cricket.
Yeah. I also want to ask you guys about the England's 11 in the third Test with 10 or 15 days to go. So if Jack Leach will recover from his injury, and
great question.
Then what about the two paces? You talked about two paces, right? Then who are you guys going to leave out?
I think it probably would be between. I think Hartley has to play.
Hartley has to play.
Even the runs down the order, he looks so assured while batting. I know it might be controversial again, but I wouldn't play Leach. I think Hartley.
I agree.
Hartley, Rian Ahmed, and Root as your spinners. I play Wood and Anderson as my seamers. I think probably that's a bit unfair on Jack Leach. He has done a good, and I say good, not great, job for England over quite a long period of time now. And I think Stokes likes the control he gives him. So maybe Ryan Ahmed, he's not been out amazing so far in the series, but I think he's shown glimpses of what he's about. You know, going to bat at three as the Nighthawk, which I just love, which I love. But I read an article that said Ryan actually went to Stokes and asked whether he could bat three. So I just love his enthusiasm, his confidence. And I think Stokes would have asked him to fulfill that role anyway.
Yeah.
But the fact that he went up to Stokes and said he wants to do it, I think that's testament to his character.
Oh, it's...
And in the first innings, he was not given the ball for I think up to 1.5 sessions. So he came into the attack after 40 or 45 overs. But after he came into the attack, he was so great in the bowling. He picked 3 or 2 wickets in the first innings, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think his attitude at the age, I think he was 20 or 21.
I think 19 or 20.
20. And his attitude was really good.
Yeah.
So
another interesting stat about the spinners is from Wisden. So I don't know if you guys have heard this. England spinners in the series so far have taken 33 wickets at 33.9, whereas India spinners have taken 23 wickets at 38.39. What's going on? What's happening there?
It shows the importance of Bumrah. So if he left out Bumrah, then I don't know.
This is what I mean. So it's Mukesh, wasn't it, who looked wildly ineffective for his limited spell.
With the inexperienced England bowlers took more wickets than the experienced Indian bowling attack comprised of Ashwin, Jadeja, Akshar and Kuldeep.
One thing I'll say is I'll be amazed if that doesn't turn around by the end of the series.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong.
But
you're right.
The field sets are the major thing for the wickets, I think. So Indian spinners don't want to leak runs. They fear of the English brand of cricket, baseball. They don't want to go for runs. But even though the economy rate of Indian bowlers are higher than the England bowlers, so I think they want to be more proactive in field sets. It's okay if they leak 4 runs. They want to get more wickets. If Bumrah will be rest in the third test, then it's in the Ashwin's hand to get 20 wickets in the test. So if India want to get 20 wickets without Bumrah, then Ashwin must to fire. He's on 499, 1 wicket to 500, the magical record. Hopefully he will get more wickets in the next 3 matches.
Who do you think he'd like to get for his 500th?
I wish it will be, if it's Stokes, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think Stokes will root or Bairstow and give him a big send-off.
Yeah, that'll be one for everyone to enjoy a little bit. To be fair, anything else to add before Rayan? I'm going to bring up your Dream 11, but is there anything else to add before we go on to that?
No, I think that's covered most things.
What's about your prediction? Who will score the most runs for England and India?
In the next test?
Yeah, in the next test.
It's got to be Crawley on form. You got to use.
I think Crawley's looking very good. I think Root, if he just knuckles down and plays his game, he's due a big score. He's such a good player at spin. He is looking a bit scrambled at the moment, but our back Root to come good in the third test, especially as you say, it's going to be a flat, true wicket.
Yeah, that'll suit our batters. I suppose it suits both teams' batters, doesn't it?
I think for India, Rohit Sharma is itching to score some big hundreds, which he was not in the last few tests. So I think in the third test, I believe Rohit Sharma will score a double hundred.
Big claim.
Yeah.
Put some money on it, right?
Yeah.
What do I think? I think Jaiswal will continue his form. I thought that knock was just deserves more praise than it got, almost. Like, as it was as important as Bumrah's wickets. You know, he put the runs on the board for Bumrah to bowl at. So I'm going to say Jaiswal will be the big wicket for us again. Of course, if Virat's back, that's massively something to think about. We'll see about that. And then in terms of England, I think Zach Crawley's, he obviously had a brilliant test. He's looked really good pretty much since the start of the Ashes. I think he bats so stylishly. Of all England's batters, apart from Root, because we all, love seeing him succeed probably more than anyone. Seeing Crawley bat, watching the way he plays, it's an absolute joy to watch when he's on song, and he was on song in Vizag.
Yeah, one thing I just noticed about Crawley is he does not score any runs behind square. It is all straight. He doesn't...
That's why I like him.
Yeah, it's just a solid base. He gets on the front foot and he just hits straight. There's none of this lapping, reverse lapping. I know he sweeps the spin as well, but that's more...
It's still in front.
Yeah, in front of square.
Slog. He does his slog.
Over cow corner.
Yeah.
And I think he just minimises risk well. But one more question I had for Rayan is KS Bharat.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that he is the best wicket-keeper batsman in a country of India's cricket stature with 1 billion people. Surely, I know Pant is obviously injured. Would you... KL Rahul, would you give him the gloves maybe? Because to be honest, Bharat doesn't look like he's going to score many runs to me.
Yeah, he's not good in the second test with both the glove and the bat. But we have Ishan Kishan, but who is currently at the break. He took some mental break. So at the end of second test, Rahul, in the press conference, Rahul Dravid told that he is in contact with Ishan, but if he want to come back to the test side, he needs to play some cricket before announcing himself available. So it's with Ishan. To take part in the upcoming series. But apart from KS Bharat, there is no such gloveman in the country. That which is sad to say. In the spinning track, KL Rahul is like a part-time wicketkeeper. Is currently doing glove works, so it's hard to wicket keeping in the spinning tracks. You see Ben Foakes. I think when compared to KS Bharat, Ben Foakes is really, really great. The glove work he did in the second test is some catches of Shubman Gill, which was very low, but he took it easy.
Yeah, the two under edges. I was just thinking, what's MS Dhoni up to?
Yeah, I would say, but why don't you guys? But why didn't you guys play Ben Foakes in England? That's a question.
That's a can of worms, isn't it?
I think
he will in the summer.
Yeah, it's the age-old debate though. Do you want best gloveman or do you want someone who's going to get you more runs?
I think you want the man behind the.
I agree, and especially in India, I think
he's the best gloveman currently in the world, arguably.
He is. His name better, just pure behind the stumps. Name better.
He's so fun to watch.
Yeah. So yeah, Rayan, Dream 11.
Yeah.
First of all, for any English listeners, what is it? Yeah, I didn't know what it was. I always see it flash up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really I just switch off during those short sections when it's on the coverage. What is it and what's it all about?
So Dream 11 is like the fantasy app, like a football fantasy. But sadly, Dream 11 is not available in UK. So in the UK, people are not able to download and participate in the Dream 11. But back in India, it's like we have to pick a team for every match. We have to pick a minimum of each wicketkeeper, batter, bowler, and all-rounder.
So there's just one.
That's
of each.
One of each, and the maximum of 8 players. We have to pick 11 players per team.
Yeah.
So we have to pick 11 players.
Okay, so you have a full team of 11, and you can't just have loads of batters because they would maybe accumulate more points.
At least one batter, one bowler, and one all-rounder, and one wicket-keeper.
Yeah.
And we have to name a captain and vice-captain in the team. So the captain gives double the points, and the vice-captain give 1.5 in points. So it's like we have to predict who is going to be the most run scorer or a wicket taker in the match, and we have to pick him. So that the main thing is we have it's a real money. So we have to give 49 Indian rupees to enter our team into the contest, and the prize money is 1 million Indian rupees.
I'm gonna run some numbers on that.
Yeah,
So anyone can play?
yeah, anyone can play.
I guess it's just like fantasy football.
Fantasy football, yeah.
Fantasy football, isn't it? Yeah.
1 million rupees, how much is that in Great British pounds?
So
In
it's
British
50p is the entry fee,
Yeah.
49 rupees. Is that per test?
One test.
Yeah. And then so 1 million.
And you can choose players from England.
It's
and
grand.
India.
Is it grand? That's pretty mad.
Okay, so you can win a grand each test if you come top.
If you come
Yeah.
top.
So that's each game will
But
come
the contest is between the more than 200,000 of people.
Yeah.
So it's like very tough to be at the top. But if you're lucky enough to pick the correct captain, vice captain, then
Yeah. So lads, who we're gonna let's try and do some shouts, I suppose. How does it work? And so it's in terms of highest runs.
highest chance. Yes.
With it, is it as pure as most wickets, or do they do like more the
So
averages?
if you score 1 run,
figures?
then they will give 1 point to the batter. Or so, for example, if I picked in Yashasvi Jaiswal in the last test, he scored more than 279 runs. So so he gave 279 points to me. Plus, if he hit a boundary, we have a bonus of 2 points. If he hit a sixer, bonus of 4 points. So if he took a catch, that's a bonus of 6 points. Run out, 4 points. If it's all rounder like Jadeja, he can give points in the batting, bowling, in the fielding. So if a bowler picks a wicket, it's 20 points. So it's like we have to choose the players from both the sides. And my value picks are obviously Tom Hartley, who is so good with the bat, with the ball. I'm sure he will give more than 150 points, irrespective of what the result is. And with the Indian side, if Bumrah is available to play, then we pick Bumrah, or else Ashwin and Akshar. So, and with the batting, Zach Crawley. I'm sure he will score at least 50 in either of innings or both the innings. And with the Indian side, I believe Rohit Sharma will score double 100 in the third test. I'm sure. Yeah.
I just want to quickly pick on the fact that of all the stars in these two teams, the first name uttered by Rayan, so the pick is Tom Hartley. Yeah. We all were slagging him off, probably, I mean, with justification in the first inning of the first test, and now he is the top pick.
Tom Hartley is like rising in ranks. Yeah. He's so impressive with the bat. The composure he has shown in the bat is really impressive.
Yeah. He looked good. He looked good.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday morning? He looked solid, to be fair.
For me, I think you've got to captain one of the Indian batsmen. if the pitch is going to be flat, like Ryan says, Jaiswal, if Kohli's back.
I'm charmed by Jaiswal. That innings really got me going.
I think Ryan is right. I think Sharma is going to be hungry. Yeah. And if he gets in, I think he will go big. We just need to get him early.
Yeah. He is still probably the batter. Him and Jaiswal are the batters that scare me the most. I guess as the caveat of whether Bumrah's playing, as to whether you pick him. Like, do you have to wait? You have to presumably do it the day before, kind of thing.
We can change the team even after the toss. So whichever team won the toss, if England win the toss and choose to bat, I'm sure we will pick Zach Crawley and.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
So, as Luke said earlier, whichever team win the toss have the edge to win the test.
Agreed.
Is there anything more to add? I think we've covered a lot of bases there.
And we talk about the Rajkot pitch. There have been 2 test matches have been played there. One was between India and West Indies, and one was between India and England. Yes. India and England in 2016 is the first test played in Rajkot.
Let me guess what happened.
Yeah.
England lost.
No. The match ended in a draw.
Okay.
England scored more than 500 runs in the first innings. Yeah. Lester Cook scored a brilliant 100.
Yeah.
The current English captain Ben Stokes scored 100.
Okay.
And then India, with the replay, they scored more than 400 runs. Then England bat again. They scored 200 plus for 3 and they declared the innings. And they set a target of more than 240 or 250. Then with the resilience of Virat Kohli, we managed to draw the match after losing 6 wickets for 180.
Oh, wow.
So it's like whoever wins the toss have the edge. Yeah. They need to bat first, obviously. With the score of England in the last 2 matches in the first innings, they haven't batted for more than 80 overs. So if England win the toss, I'm sure they're going to play basketball, but they need to bat for more than 4 sessions to completely take the lead in the test.
I think a good way to finish is if we just ask if anyone is listening to this, please share the podcast, please comment on the YouTube videos, what's good, what's bad, please be nice. If there's anything you want us to include.
Yeah. Our Twitter handle is Console Cricket, so go and follow that as well. Thanks, boys.
Cheers, guys.
Another good run.
Thanks,
we'll see. Well, actually, before the 3rd test, we're going to try and get out a quiz that we recorded last week. So hopefully that's the next thing to come out. If you're somehow still there, thank you so much for listening. See you after the 3rd test.
Cheers.
Cheers, Chris.